What college football looks like in 2026 largely depends on who gets to decide what the college football playoffs are going to look like in 2026 and beyond. Welcome to episode 127 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. Breaking news from Dennis Dodd this morning on CBS Sports. Many decision makers in college football already prefer a 16-team playoffs versus a 12-team playoffs that we're going to get in 2024 and 2025. Please smash that like button if you like our content. Subscribe to our ever-growing channel and share the video with your family and friends. But the first story that we're going to cover ties in to what Dennis Dodd was saying here at CBS Sports today. And this is a story that Pete Thamel's covering and broke some news with the merger of ASUN and WAC. The two FCS conferences, they hired sports executive Oliver Luck. Let's get into this article. I'm not going to read it all, but I'm going to provide a link in the description box below the video. Pete Thamel, longtime collegiate and professional sports. Oliver Luck has a new role. As sources told ESPN, he's being brought on as the executive director of the new football partnership between the ASUN Conference and the Western Athletic Conference. Luck will be joining the league as a consultant, per sources, and is expected to start immediately. He's the former athletic director at West Virginia and former NCAA executive who has worked in various pro sports. ESPN reported last month that the football members of the WAC and ASUN are banding together with the eventual aspiration to become a football bowl subdivision conference. That's FBS. They're trying to become the 11th one. The formal name has yet to be chosen. The league hopes to begin play in 2024, which is expected to be in the FCS. So in 2024, the goal is to have these two leagues merge, be FCS in 2024, and then become FBS by 2026. Again, 2026, where that new playoffs is going to start. Remember, the 2024, 2025 playoffs, those are set. We know what those look like. 12-team playoffs, 6 top conference champions get an automatic berth. Top 4 ranked conference champions get seed 1 through 4. We know how it works. But 2026 and beyond, we do not know. Everybody's going to have to come back and renegotiate the deal. The 10 FBS conferences in Notre Dame, or it could be 11 FBS conferences in Notre Dame, or Notre Dame might be part of a conference. We do not know. But in 2026, it all has to be renegotiated. Plus, remember, the content, the playoffs, those 11 games are going to be open for bidding in the open market for all media companies. Therefore, so much money is going to be piling in. We've been talking about the battle of 2026 at Peek Around the Corner, and we're going to continue to do so. This battle is going to be waged in 2023, 2024, and early parts of 2025. All different angles. Every institution, every conference is going to try to better themselves, get in a better position to be at that negotiating table for the 2026 playoffs and beyond. Nobody wants to be left behind. That is the battle of 2026. Let's get to the big breaking story of Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports, why college football playoff expansion could push out to 16 teams sooner than you think. Again, I'm not going to read the whole article, but I will provide the link in the description box below the video. Back to the article. When a college football playoff working group submitted options for an expanded playoff field 20 months ago, the main surprise was that college football playoff committee was far down the road considering expansion. The contract for the 14 bracket had 5 years left to run. That was locked in. The second biggest shock, the working group had considered as many as 16 teams. Now, 2 years from the debut of the 12-team playoff and in the wake of the best set of college football playoff semifinals to date, there are those who have seen enough. If 12 is good, 16 is a whole lot better. I have thought a 16 team playoff is superior. TCU coach Sonny Dykes. I thought that way for a long time. The structure exists to add 4 more teams to expanded playoff field. It has been discussed, even modeled. It was one of the 63 options presented by the working group to the College Football Playoff Management Committee. As recently as July, Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith was quoted by ESPN as saying, 16 teams just seem to be out there. You can't ignore it. I think 16 teams is the most natural, said Craig Thompson, outgoing Mountain West commissioner and member of the 4-person working group that created the 12-team bracket. I'm not advocating for it. I can't imagine a scenario that's at least not discussed before 2026. Thompson is not alone. I think 16 is the number, Matt Commissioner. 4 was better than 2. 12 is better than 4. 16 is the number in my mind. That's where everyone sees the evolution going, American Commissioner. I can see that is happening down the road. You might notice all 3 commissioners have one thing in common. Their group of 5 conferences would greatly benefit from even more access. But that's why the bracket was expanded in the first place. My view is we needed to bring people into the national championship, said SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey, who did not speak specifically on a 16-team bracket. I don't think it's healthy for college football and college football globally that a West Coast team has not been in the playoffs since 2016. It's a national game. And then the article talks about what we are looking at currently for the 2024-2025 season, which we've gone over. I'm going to finish the article in the last 2 paragraphs. In a 16-team bracket, it's a fair assumption that those first-round byes would disappear, with 8 games played the first week of college football playoffs competition. The biggest question then would be when to play those games. Over 2 days? 3? One powerful industry expert wondered, how do you create 8 unique TV windows without stepping on the NFL or creating other programming conflict? After that, the bracket would fall as the same as the 12-team field. There would be 8 teams remaining in for the quarterfinals, with the semifinals and championship to follow. You can read the rest of the article in the link that I have provided. I'm going to give you my thoughts. Then I want you to give me yours. Look in the comments section. I read them all. So please give me your comments. I love the 12-team playoffs. I love the 3 tiers of incentives. I love it. I know it hasn't happened yet, but I can imagine it. I can imagine it. You're trying to become a conference champion because 6 top-ranked conference champions get an automatic berth to the playoffs. You're trying to become one of the top 4 ranked conference champion because they get a bye, right? And seed 5 through 8 get a home field. With 16 teams, that incentive to win that conference championship game, it's not much there anymore, right? Because you're probably still, especially for a Power 5 conference, you're probably still going to make the playoffs. 16 teams, I don't like it as much as the 12 team, to be honest with you. However, I will say this. If it's between 16 teams and having a split between FBS and G5, give me the 16-team conference. I want the college football world to be as big as possible. There is no question we're going to have blowouts in the playoffs. There's no question that SEC football is going to remain on top. Big Ten is going to have their moments. Big 12 is going to have their moments. ACC is going to have their moments. Pac-12 is going to have their moments. G5 schools are going to have their moments. No question about it. We just saw the Tulane Green Wave beat USC. So if it's the choice between 16 teams and having the split, which I don't think is going to happen, give me the 16 teams. But I do prefer a 12-team playoffs over the 16-team playoffs. But I will live with the 16-team playoffs if it happens. Again, Who's going to decide? Who's going to be in that room to decide? Who's going to be in that room to decide the distribution, the money distribution between the bigger conferences that have more eyeballs on them than the smaller conferences? Who's going to be in that room? And does a 16-team playoffs, how would that look like? 8 conference champions, 8 at-large berths? Does that mean we're going to have more expansion, more realignment in Power 5? Does that mean we're going to have more realignment in G5? Does that mean we're going to get an 11th FBS conference, the merger of ASUN and the WAC conference? Cloak and dagger, cloak and dagger. There's so much going on in the college football world as we speak. So hang with us at Peek Around the Corner. We're going to be covering it all. And if you love it all, if you love everything about college football, stick with us at Peek Around the Corner. Subscribe to our channel. You'll get notified of our next episode and our next live shows. Give me your thoughts. Do you like 16 over 12? Is that in the wheelhouse that you would prefer? It sounds like a lot of people in college football, the decision makers, already prefer 16 over 12. Give me the 12, but give me 16 more than these other options that I think will harm the sport. Until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner to all of you, please, until next time, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.